Guess what? New camera angle. Check that out. Sorry if I sound like shit. Don't know what the fuck happened. Maybe I got the Rona. I don't know, but I feel terrible. My voice is gone, but I'm still out here working. So I got a new tutorial for you guys. I've been getting into a lot of like trap soul type stuff recently, so I just made a trap soul beat. Just gonna walk you through my process, is same with every other video that I've done. So let's get into it. First things first, we're gonna start off with the melody. When you make these melodies, you want to keep in mind with chords that you want to have a lot of 7th and 9th chords. A lot of jazzy stuff is really gonna make this sound more of like an R&B kind of thing. If you're using like triad chords, it can work, but it's not gonna really give that same feeling as other kind of songs go, you know, like usually with modern R&B, like those 7th and 9th chords really add like a unique tone to your progressions, and that's really going to make your beat stand out overall. So just keep that in mind when you're building your chord progressions. I like to use mostly pianos and synthesizers, but you're open to use anything. There's a lot of soul sample stuff you can do. You can just stick with synths. You can do natural instruments, whatever you want to do. Just make sure you get the chord progressions down, because that's really going to make the main difference. So I have this piano right here. And make sure you also play around with a lot of diminished as well. Sometimes you can utilize it within your beats so it can sound pretty cool. And for the effects, all I have is just an EQ, cut out a lot of the low end, throw on reverb, and then I also throw on some delay. Then I have this vocal sample right here. A lot of Bryson beats have like just vocal chops here and there. You can even use this for like Drake beats for like CLB or whatever. So I have Contact. I have this plugin called Glaze. This is basically like an R&B kind of thing, very useful for beats like this if you want to get into it. But there's a cool riff and run section, which is basically just a bunch of vocal presets that you can use. Just map them on your piano key and then they'll run like a specific vocal phrase or whatever. It's similar to Arcade, but you don't have to do like the monthly payment or whatever. It's just like a one-time thing. If you use Arcade or Exhale, it basically does the same thing. So I just have this vocal sample playing with the chord progression. And then for effects, I just cut out a lot of the high end up to 2K, and then also a lot of the low end. And then I also have some reverb as well. Then I have this sound right here. It's like a bell sound from this Contact bank right here. And then all I did for effects was just throw on some supermassive as well as an EQ, cutting out up to 5K in the frequency. And then I introduce a pad. This is basically just the exact same chords as the piano. I have this preset from Citrus, so it's same chords playing the exact same notes. And then I have this bass right here, really like dark Reese bass. If you want to use basses, I'd recommend very heavy, hard, distorted basses, or just very thick sub basses. Most of the genre will use that kind of thing. And then for the pad, I just have supermassive, and again cut out roughly like 2.5K hertz, cut out a lot of the low end. And then for the Reese bass, I just boosted a lot of the lower end, a little bit of this frequency right here, and then cut out a lot of the high, because I want it to be like very thick and low. I don't want the high frequencies to be there. With these beats, you kind of want to get rid of as much high end as possible, because that's where the vocal shines. You want to keep everything within like the mid range to lower frequencies with your melodies and just everything else in general, because the higher end will be taken up mostly by the vocal. So with everything together, this is what it's going to sound like. And finally for the melody, I just have this counter melody, another bell sound from 25. It's just playing this pattern right here just to kind of serve as a counter melody. And then I have just an EQ cutting out some high and low frequencies, and then a supermassive plugin. And that's pretty much it for the melody. It's just kind of spaced out and arranged in this particular way. I'm gonna break down the drums really quick. So with Bryson Tiller stuff, he switches a lot from like 808s to sub basses, so I decided to put both of them in there. I have this 808 right here, super thick. I threw on some trash too, just to give it some extra distortion. I have this like mirror overdrive preset. I really want it to sound super thick, you know, and then I also want it to just kind of stand out in the mix and not kind of be like muddy or like blow. So this is what that pattern sounds like. Obviously I incorporated slides. These are very important. Do these to taste. It doesn't really matter how you do it, but just add them as you can. Too much obviously can be very annoying, but if you can, you know, add slides here and there tastefully, then you're good to go. And I just left some spaces in between just so that there's some bounce incorporated to it. Then I have this kick. With your kick, you want to make sure it's very punchy and very present. So make sure you have like either good samples or you have some kind of plug-in to kind of enhance your kick frequency to make it stand out. I just have Diablo Light, threw on some clipper and some punch just to make it, you know, punch. Next, I have some snares and hi-hats. So with the hi-hat, I just created some bounce by leaving some open pockets for other elements to kind of shine through, so like the snare and the counter snare. And then I also threw on these rolls right here just to kind of give it some extra character. A lot of Bryson Tiller beats will have very cool, unique hi-hat patterns where they're rolling all over the place and they're kind of doing a bunch of crazy shit. So I just threw on some rolls, you know, sporadically. That's pretty much it for the beat. Just some key takeaways. Make sure you're kind of cutting out a lot of the higher end because that's where the vocal shines. Definitely use a lot of minor 7th, major 7th or 9th chords and a lot of distinct chords. Play around with your chord progressions, get creative with it. For your drums, just make sure you use very hard hitting sounds, you know, trap drums obviously because trap soul, and then just use a very thick and present 808. And yeah, just make sure you don't overcomplicate it because again, there has to be vocals on top of this, but don't be afraid to like do like cool rolls and stuff and everything like that. It'll make it sound really dope and really cool. And then for arrangement, I just have the piano playing with the vocal, and then I add the bell sound, add in the bass and the pad, and then just kind of throw on a counter melody. And then I just have a riser, throw in the drums and the 808, and then everything's just kind of playing. I cut out the 808 and just have the Reese bass playing, and then cut out all the drums and it's just the melody, and then I just loop it right over. And that's pretty much it. I'm gonna let this beat play out for you guys. If you did enjoy it, definitely give a like, thumbs up, and subscribe. Let me know what you guys want to see next. That's it for me, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.